So you're trying to serve process on somebody, but they live in a gated community or a security apartment complex and you're having trouble getting to them. What do? Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. When you're trying to serve somebody and their residence is in a restricted area, gated community, that type of thing, that can prove to be very difficult. One of the things that I would say that probably the easiest thing to do is find them somewhere else and serve them. So that might mean at work or at a bar, at a friend's house. Of course, use good judgment on these things. If you're serving somebody at a bar, and I've done that plenty, be aware. I mean, obviously, drinking, lowered inhibitions, anger, ego. You're showing them up in front of their friends. That's their perspective on it. But if the person lives in a restricted access community and they're not granting you access to take these court papers, they know they need to have them anyways, then they're really leaving you no choice but to serve them somewhere else. Couple of things here. Number one, treat that person with as much dignity and respect as you can, as much as really they'll let you treat them with. So if you're serving them at home, I try to be respectful. I mean, it's their house. If you do have to find them out and about, maybe at work or while they're shopping or something like that, kind of in a sense, there's almost an elevated sense for me of treating them with respect and dignity. I'm not trying to embarrass them. Don't try to prove your point. You're not saying that you're better than them. You're bringing them legal papers. You want to do it discreetly, quietly, and be done with it. Be professional about it. The other thing to consider here is, where are your skip tracing skills? Because you may not have any address but the home address for that person. Or you may have an address for work, and maybe only work, where you can't get to them in this restricted access building. Your skip tracing skills have to be up there for those types of cases. Now, if you're working process serving for a company, they may or may not expect you to skip trace. They may just expect you, hey, we want you to give 3 attempts, 3 different times of day, on 3 different days at this address, and that may be enough. But if you're in a position, especially if you own your own company, you kind of got to be successful. That's how you're going to keep that business. That's how you're going to get new business, is just by that reputation, knowing that if they call you, the problem is solved. So you got to have those skip tracing skills. That's why in the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Process Serving, I have a whole section on skip tracing. It's really a mini skip tracing course built right into that process serving course. If you've got that, you know what good stuff is there. But if you need to just look at the basics, the fundamentals, there's so much information online. There's so much available through social media. So skip tracing has never been simpler. However, when you have somebody that's refusing and taking active steps not to be found, that's where your skills as an investigator have to be top notch. There are all sorts of sources and methods for skip tracing. I talk about some of them in my free report. If you want to be a private investigator, give up. Unless you do these 3 things, you can get that on the homepage of ShadowAnyone.com. Be sure, though, that you stay up to date on these sources and methods that are out there, always learning new ones when they're available, and sticking by and using those tried and true ones that you've had success with before. This is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.